Alaikum. Okay, welcome again my friends. This is Abdul Hadi. Inshallah we will explain or continue in explaining the second part of 2020 paper 6 November inshallah. Okay, question number 3 said solid Y, okay, and solid Z were analyzed. Tests were done on each solid. يعني عندنا two solids Y and Z هنعمل عليهم طبعا our tests، وده طبعا الشابتر اللي هو test for cations and anions. Firstly, solid Y was dissolved in distilled water to form solution Y. Solution Y was divided into 4 portions. يعني هو جاب solid Y هنا وعمله dissolving in water وقسمه إلى 4 portions. خلاص؟ Okay. Test 1. Aqueous ammonium was added dropwise, then in excess to the first portion of solution Y. خلاص هو عمل عملية addition for ammonium or for aqueous ammonia into the first two. A white precipitate formed which was insoluble in excess. Okay. After addition of aqueous ammonia, it forms white precipitate with 3 cations: zinc K cation, aluminum cation, and calcium cation. Who studied this chapter will know that. Okay, so what will give with aqueous ammonia? White precipitate which is insoluble. Both zinc and aluminum will form white precipitate. Zinc, okay, and aluminum will form white precipitate which is soluble, and the calcium insoluble in aqueous ammonia. Okay, but what will insoluble in excess is aluminum. So this indication or this test is a test for aluminum. Al aluminum cation, Al positive 3. Okay, aluminum has a valency of 3, Al positive 3. Okay, let's move to test 2. Aqueous sodium hydroxide was then added dropwise، يعني drop by drop، and then in excess to the second portion. ايه اللي بيحصل بقى لو اضفنا صوديوم هيدروكسيد للتست للتيوب الثانيه اللي فيها السوليوشن واي؟ قال لك white precipitate formed. اوكي، يبقى بيأكد كلامنا ان هو ممكن يكون aluminum formed which dissolved in excess. Okay, this is an indication for aluminum because aluminum will dissolve in excess. Okay, which dissolved in excess. Okay, so after addition of sodium hydroxide to aluminum, okay, aluminum is soluble in excess giving colorless solution, and zinc also is soluble, but aluminum is insoluble in excess when we add ammonia solution. So this, okay, inform that we have aluminum cation. Test 3. A piece of aluminum foil. Okay, using aluminum foil, okay, this test for nitrate group, and I'll repeat it. Who studied this chapter will understand that. The gas turned damp red litmus paper into blue, and this also another indication that this group is nitrate, NO3. The last test, about 1 centimeter cubed of dilute nitric acid and a few drops of aqueous silver nitrate. Okay, this test for halogens. Okay, added to third portion of solution Y. The solution remained colorless, no precipitate. Okay, colorless here means, okay, means no indication for any one of halogens, because if we have, for example, Chloride have a white precipitate, bromide give cream precipitate, and iodide yellow precipitate. So colorless, okay, means nothing till now. Let's move to the first question. A. Name the gas given off in test 3. Okay, we said that gas is nitrate, NO3. Okay. Identify solid Y. We said that solid Y is Al, aluminum, cations. Okay. C. A strip of universal indicator paper. As you know, a universal indicator have different colors. Okay. Dipped into the fourth portion of solid Y. The universal indicator paper turned orange. Yes, orange here means it is acid or weak acid. What additional information was this give? يعني ايه الانفورميشن الاضافيه اللي هيطلع لنا التست ده؟ This test indicates that we have weak acid. Weak acid. So universal indicator, you have to be aware with the colors of universal indicator and different colors which will give to us. Solid Z. Solid Z was iron 2 sulfate. Okay, you have to understand that iron 2 give green precipitate with sodium hydroxide. Okay, which is insoluble in excess. Insoluble in excess, and also insoluble with NaOH. And also if we add ammonia or aqueous ammonia, okay, it will be insoluble also. Insoluble also. Okay, so let's move to the question. Solid Z was dissolved in water, produced solution Z, was split into 3 equal portions in 3 boiling tubes. Okay, aqueous ammonia was added dropwise and then an excess, okay, to the first portion. يعني هنضيف طبعا excess ammonia. احنا قلنا هنا الاكسس امونيا بتدينا green precipitate. Green precipitate. Observation. You have to be aware with the term observation. Observation means here what you see, what you see, or what you smell, okay, or what you listen, or what you hear. Okay, this is the meaning of observation. So observations here we write green precipitate. Okay, green precipitate. We have one mark here. The second mark will say precipitate insoluble in excess. Precipitate insoluble. Precipitate insoluble in excess, as we said. Okay, about 2 centimeter cube dilute hydrochloric acid was added to the second portion of Z. Okay, also observation here. When we add hydrochloric acid, HCl, to iron sulfate, FeSO4, okay, what will happen? Formation of iron chloride, okay, and sulfuric acid. So no change in color, no change in color. Iron chloride also has a green color or green precipitate. No change in color, no change in color. Or you can write green precipitate, green precipitate. G. About 1 centimeter cube dilute nitric acid, okay, dilute nitric acid, followed by few drops of aqueous barium nitrate. Okay, you have to remember that barium, okay, is a test for the sulfate group. Okay, for the sulfate group. Nitrate were added to the third portion of solution Z. Okay, so there is a white precipitate formed. White precipitate formed. Okay, this attests for the presence of sulfate group. Okay, let's move to the next question. A mixture contains 3 solid compounds copper 2 sulfate. So when we talk about the mixture here, we will move to another chapter which is talking about the separation techniques أو فصل المخاليط. Okay, copper 2 sulfate, cetyl alcohol, silicon dioxide. Okay, the table gives some information on the solubility of the 3 compounds. Copper 2 sulfate soluble in water, okay, and insoluble in propanone alcohol. propanone and يعني acetone. Okay, cetyl alcohol insoluble in water and soluble in propanone. Silicon dioxide also insoluble in water and insoluble in both propanone. Okay, plan a method to obtain a pure sample of H3 solids of copper 2 sulfate, cetyl alcohol. Okay, you have to access to how many marks here? We have here, okay, we have here 6 marks. We have here 6 marks. Okay, so whatever the method you will use here, okay, you have to talk about suitable, okay, apparatus or equipment you will use, such as flask, okay, such as funnel and your filter paper and so on. Okay, so firstly let's talk about equipment or apparatus was used. We will use suitable apparatus هنستخدم طبعا أدوات مناسبة apparatus such as flask or beaker. Okay, so firstly we'll use suitable equipment or apparatus such as flask. Okay, firstly we'll try to separate copper 2 sulfate. Okay, let's move to copper 2 sulfate. Okay, so copper 2 sulfate soluble in water, okay, and insoluble in propanone okay, يبقى copper 2 sulfate will first we add water, okay, to dissolve copper 2 sulfate. Okay, then copper 2 sulfate now dissolved in water, and after that we can do, okay, we filter, or we can filter, okay, then evaporate the filtrate, to obtain crystals of copper 2 sulfate, to obtain crystals of copper sulfate, CuSO4. Okay, we obtained the copper 2 sulfate. Okay, then 1, 2, 3. Number what? Step 4. Okay. Add propanone also. To dissolve cetyl alcohol. To dissolve cetyl alcohol. Then stir. Okay, filter. To remove silicon dioxide. To remove silicon dioxide because it is insoluble in both. Okay. Number 7. Evaporate solvent again. Okay. Evaporate. Evaporate, then filter and wash. And dry residue. Any steps you will follow, okay, according to the solubility in those 3 solvents. Okay, if you want to separate silicon dioxide, okay, remember that silicon dioxide insoluble in water and insoluble in propanone, and cetyl alcohol insoluble in water but soluble in propanone, but copper sulfate soluble in water. So the only one here which is soluble in water is copper 2 sulfate. So first separate copper 2 sulfate, okay, by dissolving in water, then evaporation, you will separate it. Then dissolve both cetyl alcohol and silicon dioxide, okay, in water and propanone, okay, or let's forget water and dissolve in propanone. The only will dissolve in propanone is acetyl alcohol, is cetyl alcohol, okay. Then you can make a filtration process to separate silicon dioxide. And the third process here, wash and dry the filtrate. You will have the 6 mark. Any process you will follow here, you will have the full mark, okay. So this was the end of this. Please again don't forget to study our very important chapters: separation techniques or separation methods, experimental techniques, separation of cations and anions, okay, electoral cells. Those are the most important 4 chapters. دول أهم 4 شابتر عندنا. خلاص لازم to study well. نسألكم الدعاء. شكرا جدا جدا جدا. Okay, goodbye my friends.